Hello, hello, everyone. This is Kim Jacobs, and I am so excited that you guys tuned into the Kim Jacobs Show today. We are when I say in for a treat, we are in for a treat because we have a wonderful young lady that's joining us today. Many of you know that on the Kim Jacobs Show, you get a chance to hear people's backstories. So at the end of the day, you never know what a person's been through when they're balancing different aspects of life. And it's so, sometimes it's heartbreaking, sometimes it's fun and funny and uplifting, and other times it's like, wow, you mean to tell me this person experienced this and they came through all of this to become who they are today? Yes, that happens. And here on the Kim Jacobs Show, you get an opportunity to meet people you may have never encountered in your lifetime. So today I am bringing to you, and we're doing this, she's in her location, I'm in my location, but we're going to bring it to you and have a great time. As I introduce to you, CharDenise Caldwell. She was born and raised outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. She was raised by her grandparents who taught her to be strong and independent. Char's background is in sales, so she's also a superstar and sales closer and everything like that. With this great background, she's won many awards, but her passion is to inspire others to overcome. It's through her own pain and suffering that she developed a passion to help others. At this point, I'd like to welcome Miss CharDenise Caldwell. We'll be calling her Char throughout the interview. Hey, Char.
Hi, Miss Jacobs.
Hi, how are you? Now, please don't call me Miss Jacobs on the Kim Jacobs Show. You're going to make me feel old, Char.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
I'm so glad to have you on, Char. And you're such a sweetheart. I've already enjoyed getting to know you just through some of the things that I've researched about you. And I can't wait for everyone to get the opportunity to learn some of the things I've learned about you. So first of all, I see that, that you said that you personally overcame so many things. I really want people listening to hear what are some of the things that you overcame, Char.
Well, I was raised by my grandparents, and as a baby, I was 11 months old when they adopted me.
Oh.
And one of my biggest struggles in life has always been rejection. I felt rejected and unwanted as a child. I knew my siblings, I knew my mom, and actually, my grandparents who adopted me were my dad's parents. So for a long time, I didn't understand why I lived with my grandparents and my siblings with my parents. So it was a struggle, learning to love myself and to accept my life, the life that I was given, because I felt like maybe something was wrong with me. Like, why did I have to be adopted? And my grandmother told me, I wanted a baby, and I was a beautiful butterball little baby, and she wanted me for herself. They had the means of taking care of me, and I was a blessing to them, but I felt like it was a curse.
Wow. That, I bet you most people, when they're going through that situation, first of all, I commend your grandparents for allowing you to stay inside the family. And oftentimes there are situations where people aren't able to care for children, but then they have to give them outside of the family because there's no one to even take them in the home, so that's something to be commended, that your grandparents kept you right there within the family. But you still said it made you feel rejected by whom?
My parents, because I didn't understand. So I have a sister who's older. I was a girl. I have a sister and a younger brother. So my brother is the youngest. But I was like in the middle of the girls, so I said, well, I don't want to be adopted. Or the youngest, what kind of child we have, so different things where you're trying to understand, why it's you, and I realized now that I was choosing to do these great things that I could have ever imagined, and it took my grandparents to get me to that point. So I'm grateful for it, but growing up, I didn't understand it at all.
Well, I'm grateful that you became who you are today. And you said that you've overcome that, but I know that you also had to overcome some other things. What are some other things that you experienced as you were going through the adoption and in life and that brought you kind of to where you are today?
Um, Different, as a I was always overanalyzing things. Some things that I experienced and not understanding who I am. Those things brought me to other struggles as an adult, in relationship with and not knowing my own work and my own body, how to love myself, and then also being a single mother with two children. And my oldest son was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at the age of 10. And at one point, honestly, my baby was dying. It was really hard trying to wrap around what was going on. And I moved from one state to another, trying to get the help that he needed. And, a lot of different, dealing with myself and getting him to me and to love me and to understand the different processes and things that I had to go through in order to make me, a better person. So I'm grateful for it. I've also been through abuse. I was in, a very abusive relationship, and it was something, I had to really just run away from. Because when you're in a relationship with someone, especially when you struggle with relationships as a child and trying to hang on to people and love people and having the need to feel love because sometimes you feel like you have been, neglected by those you wanted to love you most. In relationships as an adult, it carries on. And as an adult, I found myself trying to hang on to people that weren't necessarily good for me. So I found myself in a very abusive relationship, and I went through a lot of different things. Sometimes I tried to escape that person, and I couldn't escape him. Like, I would put him out, and he would somehow get back in the house.
Wow.
And I had to really had to get myself together and to understand for my children that I wanted more for them. If nothing else, I didn't want them to grow up seeing abuse and for it to repeat because it's a cycle. When you go through abuse, oftentimes people who are abused become abusers. And I wanted a better life for my children. I wanted them to grow up and to be nourished and loved and to be able to be happy and not have the thoughts of themselves that I had of myself growing up, because sometimes I felt like I didn't have what I truly wanted as far as a parent-child relationship.
Wow. That's so, first of all, that's to be admired that you're trying to give back to your children what you felt you didn't have yourself, even though your grandparents did the best that they could personally. So it's not anything to reflect on them. It's just some things that was going on internally in you that you wanted that connection. And so a part of what you were saying, I think kind of bleeped out. And because we're live on this show, I want to make sure it doesn't go missed. Let's just talk about your children once again. You said, how many children do you have? And I think you said your son was diagnosed with something. So please just say that again.
I have two children. I have two sons. They are age 12 and 13. My 13-year-old was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at the age of 7.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. And how did that have to change things in your home and in raising your children?
Well, we had to, for one, change our eating habits. Yes. But initially, it was a matter of understanding what was going on. One day, he just started, I remember when he was actually a little bit younger than that, he woke up in the middle of the night a few times screaming, that his stomach was hurting, and it went away. Well, then maybe like a year or so later, he started having all this pain, and he went to the doctor, and at first they thought it was a gluten allergy. So it wasn't gluten, and then, they kind of sent him home and said, okay, well, we'll just try and see what happens, and, try this, and they put him on like a omeprazole and try to, see if that helps coat his stomach, kind of make things go away. Well, matters got worse, and they actually turned for worse, like overnight. I remember I was in the process of doing my first play, and it was like he was okay one day, and the next day he was just like losing weight really fast. He was always in the bathroom. He was throwing up. He couldn't hold anything down. And he would lose like 20, 30 pounds in a couple of weeks. And it was a very trying time because I was trying to do something meaningful, with my play, and I wanted to, send out a message, but at the same time, I was battling with my son.
Right.
So we moved to Georgia. Yeah, we moved to Georgia, and I was trying to, get him to a better situation with better doctors. And it was the doctors at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta who was able to tell me, hey, this is what's going on, and this is what you need to do, and you need to do it fast. So he had to take medication in the hospital, injections for, every 4 weeks. For about 2 years we did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the medication stopped working. It was, his immune system was basically attacking the medication as well. And I'm not sure, how much people know about Crohn's, but it's basically an autoimmune disease where your body is saying everything that your body is trying to process as far as food, it's saying that it's a foreign object and it wants to get it out.
Right.
So the body attacks itself. And it has been difficult, it was difficult initially trying to, get teachers to understand, especially with him in school and being sick and having to pick him up and make up time, and just getting other people to understand. Oftentimes, when people haven't had to experience things, they really don't understand what you're dealing with, and they may not be as compassionate about it.
Yes.
So it was a matter sometimes of getting people to understand that this is a really serious issue. And, I went through a lot of changes with the school system, as well. And his brother, also, being a big brother, although being a little brother, to help understand and help care for him whenever he's, in a lot of pain and can't do.
Wow. Well, you know what? I'm glad that you educated everyone about that, because I have 3 children that have cystic fibrosis, and I share the same sentiments when you're trying to deal with the schools and educate people. And it's like, no, just work with me here. It's something just that has to be done. It's not an option. We have to work together here to make it all work synergistically for the benefit of the child, So I'm really glad that God gave you to be the advocate for your son. What's both of your sons' names?
Frey and Key.
Okay, hi, Frey and Key. You guys have a great mom, obviously an advocate that's watching over you and protecting you and standing up for you. So that's a good thing too. Now, Char, I know that you started writing back in 2007. When I was reading your bio, I saw that you love to share lessons with others about what you've learned and how you overcame. And the book that you've recently written is called Free Yourself. So I was like, everybody has to know about this. Why did you write the book Free Yourself? And tell us a little bit more about your whole writing journey.
Okay. Well, I write basically to inspire others. As I grow, I consider myself to be a little bit of a growth advocate, because I believe that growth is so important. It's so important for us. In order for us to develop to be the people that we truly want to be inside and to have the impact that we want to have on the lives of others, it is important that we are continuously growing and working on ourselves. So I believe in growth. And I wrote this book particularly because I was at a point where I started doing things that I wanted to do, and I stopped, I froze, I got scared, and I was like, this is a lot. Like, I don't know if I'm capable of doing this. So I just paused, and I realized that I wasn't the only one. A lot of times we are boxed in by fear, and fear comes from our past and the different things we've been told. You know how you're growing up and you're told, well, don't do this, do that. You can't, have this particular career. You should do this. And a lot of times we don't do what we truly desire to do because we've been told not to, and that is not the right fit for us. So I come to a point where I realized the things that I wanted to do were the things that I was actually good at and the things that I should have been doing all along. And I realized that other people need to know that as well. And not just that, we are products of our environment. And whatever we're trained to be is who we become until we understand, that this is not who I actually want to be. And we go through the process of breaking down, okay, who am I? How did I get here? And how do I go from here to the person that I'm trying to be? And that's what Free Yourself is about. It is about using the building blocks you've been given, as a child, and separating the things that belong and the things that don't belong, and growing into a new path to become the person that you truly want to be, and being free from everything else that does not take you in that direction.
Girl, I tell you, if we were in church right now, I would probably be just shouting all over the place. But this right here deserves applause. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. That's some good stuff right there. I mean, that is so important what you're sharing with people. And sometimes when we're on the show, I don't know if people have notebooks out. If you don't have a notebook out, go back and listen to this broadcast later. Take your notepad out. CharDenise, I love saying CharDenise. Is that okay to say it that way? Or do you want me to just say Char?
Either way.
Okay, I love it. Sounds so exotic. CharDenise, you know? Well, I'm sure Miss Jacobs sounds fun too. I'm over here saying, don't call me Miss Jacobs. And I'm calling your whole government name CharDenise Caldwell, huh? Anyway, Char, I was just going to say that I'm impressed by what you're sharing, because so many people out here that are listening to this broadcast, those are the things that people need to hear, that don't let other people tell you what you cannot do. Make sure that you officially do the things that you're passionate about. Stop being blocked by fear. You're saying some wonderful tips and nuggets for people, and I can't wait for people to read this book, Free Yourself. So when you wrote the book Free Yourself, pretty much what they can expect to receive from this book is what? Give me just like 1, 2, 3. What are some things they can say? This is what you're going to walk away learning from the book Free Yourself.
Well, this is an excellent resource for people to really break down the process. It starts from, as a child, how we're born in the blind. A child is born and we begin to slowly see things, and it goes all the way as we are growing and how we start to pick up different things from different people in the classrooms, from our friends and our family, and from, the teachers and the different leaders. And it goes through the process of helping us to understand how we get to where we are. And then most of us get to a point where we are stuck in what I call the wilderness. As in the Bible, where, the Israelites were kind of stuck in the wilderness and they stay there too long. And we stay too long oftentimes because we don't realize the resources that we have that will take us to the next point, because we have so much information and we don't know what to do with it. This will help you dissect the information that you have and figure out what, those building blocks. This is what I need to get me to the next level. It will also help you identify yourself, your gifts, and how to apply those things to the life that you are working on creating for yourself.
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I have to do another applause for you, just because I know everybody's clapping wherever they are listening right now. So just...
Thank you.
You don't understand, girl. That is some good stuff. So no matter where you are, being born in life to where you are today, things can change. You can free yourself from those situations, because in the book, Free Yourself by CharDenise, she's officially telling you specific step-by-step ways to free yourself. Some people are imprisoned in their own minds because we've allowed that to happen, whether it be from our circumstances, being a product of our environment, whatever the case may be. But now you have here an author that's written an entire book called Free Yourself, and she's a growth advocate. So you can't get better than hearing from a growth advocate that's overcome so many trials and tribulations herself to become who she is and how she freed herself. So ultimately, how did you free yourself? How did you personally free yourself, Char?
Freeing yourself comes from really understanding who you are. And I started basically evaluating. I've always been an analyst. As a child, I used to watch and just kind of dissect and evaluate people. And then most of us do that. I got to a point where instead of just looking at people, I started looking at myself and questioning my actions. What did I do in this situation? What did I say? What result did I get? What result did I actually want? So understanding more about my past and going back and saying, how could I have done this if I was that person, putting myself in other people's shoes and rearranging the situation, and basically just analyzing and understanding more about me, what I truly wanted, and how to change the results to get it.
Wow. And as you were saying that, Char, what it made me go back to or think about was when you were saying about your early childhood. I would be very interested in knowing, and I'm sure my listeners would too, what kind of relationship do you have with your biological family and people, that you didn't necessarily grow up with, but based on maybe freeing yourself, some good things maybe came from it. Any thoughts?
Well, actually, I have a relationship with with all of my family. It's not the relationship that I would have liked to have had because of the distance that was created through that situation. But I have a stronger relationship with my mother. Well, my father is deceased. Long story short, when I was 19, my biological father was always kind of there. Like, he was the person who was always telling me what to do. He was always, coming around saying, don't do this, do this way. And so he was the person I used to kind of go back and forth with a lot. And he used to, he was so hard on me. He was hard on me, although he didn't live with me. And a lot of times he and my grandfather would argue over me. So it was a difficult situation because it was like, she's my child. No, she's my child. So he was always there. But long story short, he died when I was 19. And then right after he died, my grandmother died. And then, like 9 months later, my grandfather died. Those are the people I was closest to. So at an early age, they were my system, my people that I knew loved me, that were always in my corner, whether I was right or wrong. And I lost them all like back to back. So for a long time, that kind of left me in the wilderness. I was lost and did not know where to go or how to pick up the pieces of my own life. And it had a strong impact. So after that happened, I ended up, later developing a relationship with everyone else because I needed to have a family relationship. But, there are still some struggles with my siblings. Of course, because we were not in the same household and they had their own stereotype about what happened as well. But I just make the best of those, relationships and situations and, the situation because you have to do what you can, with that and mend as much as you can. But sometimes you have to just, I guess, keep yourself separate to the point that you don't allow it to cause an emotional impact on you because sometimes it can when you are not getting the same treatment that you would like to receive because you're kind of a sibling, but you're not you're not actually a sibling,
Well,
it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, you know what? Even in explaining it, it sounds like you've handled it in a very fragile, delicate way that considers everyone, which is a blessing. I can tell just by how you're even wording your comments, which lets me know that you're also always thinking about other people, which is a blessing too, because sometimes people that not just people that I interview, but people that I interact with or cross paths with, and they have different family dynamics. It's like blast, blast, blast. And I really appreciate, that's another moment of applause. Hold on. I really appreciate the fact that you are trying to consider all parties, and even in freeing yourself, you're not freeing yourself to the point where it impacts someone else in a negative light. So that's to be commended. For all of you that are siblings out there listening, that are siblings of CharDenise, you have a super special sister here who still considers your everything. She considers everything, clearly. That's a good thing. And I commend you for that, Char. Now, let's talk about these sales awards because you said what? I didn't hear you.
Oh, no, I was just saying thank you.
Aw, thank you. Thank you for even sharing that portion of your life. I also want to make sure we talk about these sales because you've been a sales expert. You've gone out and won multiple awards. What kind of sales do you do and what carried you to your award recognition process?
Well, I started in cell phone sales actually when I was like 19. And working in a cell phone store, I was able to become a part of the top 10 in the company and made chairman club at a very early age. I spent most of my career working in insurance sales, from property and casualty insurance to life and health insurance, pretty much sold it all, Medicare insurance.
Wonderful. So you literally have had your hand on a lot of different things, and not just in things, but you've done well at doing each of these things too, which is to be commended as well. So are you still in sales or are you focusing more on the growth expert stuff?
So I'm focusing on insurance. I do sell life insurance still currently. And with that and writing and insurance are my two things right now.
Okay, now you were saying also with the writing, I know you wrote the book Free Yourself, but you actually, according to my research, wrote 2 other books. Tell us about those.
Well, my first book was kind of something I wrote for friends and family, and it was more to kind of help people to, understand a little bit about my background and my pain and the hurt and the things that I went through and how my relationship with God and having a, understanding of things happening for a reason and things having a divine connection to lead us to be the great people that we are, destined to be, and me understanding that and the process of me overcoming. And then the other book is actually my third book that will be coming out in December, so next month. So so I just did this book in November, and then I have another book in December that's going to be titled The Power of a Made-Up Mind.
Woo-hoo, girl, please make sure I get my copy. That's going to be a good book. If you've already dropped this level of wisdom and knowledge and nuggets on Free Yourself, I can't wait to get that copy of that book. So I'm excited about it. Now, how do people stay connected with you, Char?
You can follow me on Instagram at Char_Caldwell_. You can also check out my website. It's www.snatchbackyopower.com. And I will have a podcast coming in 2020 to help inspire others as well and tell more about my different life experiences and how I overcame them.
Okay, I can't wait to tune into your podcast, and I know it's going to be phenomenal. So let's go back. You said Char_Caldwell, and that's how people can follow you on social media?
Yes, on Instagram, Char_ and then Caldwell and then _again.
Caldwell. I'm typing this in the chat too for all of you that are listeners, because I have a few people chatting with us on here. So Char_Caldwell_. And then if you would like to check her out on her website, go to Snatch, www, let me write this. I'm trying to type it in, interview you. www.snatch.back your power. Snatch back your. That's a book too.
Y-O. Snatch back your power.
Oh, Y-O?
Yes, ma'am.
Girl.
Y-O.
Okay, snatchbackyopower.com. God help us. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
www.snatchbackyopower.com. That's snatchbackyopower.com. I'm putting this in the chat. And who is this? WPPI Thunder. Hello, I'm a first-time listener. My wife and I enjoy listening to your show. Keep up the great work and happy holidays to you and your family. And we'll stop by again soon. Well, welcome to the show, to the Kim Jacobs Show, WPPI Thunder. And I'm going to tell you, if any of you that are out here that like to chat with us while we're live, feel free to comment. And if you have a question for Char, type it in. Maybe she can answer it before we disconnect, or anything that you want to put out as positive feedback, positive energy, please do that. And someone asked me about energy earlier today, Char, and I said, no, my energy, when I'm talking about energy, comes from God and from Jesus. This is my show, so I can say who my energy source is, right? I don't have to hide it and be like it's some other source. I don't judge other people, and whatever you hang your head on or your soul on is up to you. It's totally fine. I'm just telling you what Kim Jacobs from the Kim Jacobs Show believes, So, Char, yes, Char, this has been a great interview, and hearing you and knowing that you have a podcast coming out, I can't wait to tune in. Please make sure you drop back by and let me know so I can share with listeners and people how they can stay connected with you through your podcast as well. You said, when is that going to be released?
It will be next year. I don't actually have a date yet. I have a co-host, so we are working on all of the details. So it will be listed on the website as well.
So make sure y'all keep abreast of what's happening with CharDenise Caldwell at snatchbackyopower.com. She is a force to be reckoned with, a woman that has freed herself, and she's teaching others how to do the same. And if any last words of wisdom, encouragement, anything that you want to share that you didn't get to share during this whole interview, go ahead and take it away.
I just want to say that we are all very talented and creative people. We are not all the same. Everybody has a different gift, and what we bring to the table benefits everybody. And it is so important that we focus on and work on our goals and our dreams, because there's no greater feeling, than giving yourself and empowering and helping other people. And I believe that, we all deep down inside crave for more. We're all craving to be great. We all crave for greatness. And unfortunately, sometimes we're great at doing the wrong thing. And because we have a desire to be, good at something, we say, well, I'll just be good at, this over here, even though it could be something negative. And I think that we should all learn to love and encourage one another. If you see someone who is trying to be a better person, applaud them. Give them a hand, tell them good job, even if it's not where they should be at that particular moment, because as you encourage people and then as they grow, you will grow as well. And the more we give to each other, the more comes out for us as a whole. I believe that we are all truly connected, and the more that we are living in our gifts and walking in our gifts, the more we bring to the table and to this world as a whole.
There you go.
So yeah, I think we should, definitely, make sure that we are learning to, love ourselves also. No matter what has been said to you or what has been done to you, you can overcome anything. There isn't anything that you're not able to overcome if you really take the time to do that. And as I look back at my past, some things I don't always talk about, but I've experienced a lot of hurt. And there were times when I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone and I couldn't tell anyone what I was dealing with. But I'm so grateful that as I began to talk about it, to people, there were other people that experienced what I experienced or experienced something that I could help them with. And that's what fuels me. That's what gives me the passion and the drive to continue, knowing that what I'm saying and doing is helping someone else. Mm-hmm. And I just love it. I love to be able to help and to inspire others. There's no greater feeling or greater reward than just what I have to offer give people.
Oh, sure. That's what I love. I love you. I love you. I just love you. I love you because it's so exactly what I feel about people. I love celebrating other people and not competing and not worrying about. And there's so much space for everybody to be able to have their goals and their dreams accomplished. And my dreams and goals do not have to be in lieu of you accomplishing yours. It's like we can all win. We can all win.
Exactly. And when we all win, it is a great win. That is the thing that I sometimes wish people would see. If one win, we all win. And guess what? When I win, I'm helping you win. It is not just, for me. And we should not be selfish, and we should not look at people and think, oh, if they win, they're going to take my spot. No, you have your spot. No one can take your spot. No one can be you. Only you can be you. Only you can be good at being you. Be the full you that you've been created to be. And that's what I intend to be. And I love helping people do that.
That is so perfect. I am so honored that you were my guest today, Char. I had the best time ever interviewing you. It's been a lot of fun. And I know it's been a live show, so if any piece of it was missed, I tried to recapture some of it. I heard a little glitch early on, but I'm so glad that you guys stayed on because this was an interview well worth hearing. And download it, share it with friends. Make sure you tell everybody you know that the Kim Jacobs Show is on the air. And we encourage you to like and follow the Kim Jacobs Show. And make sure that if you're a mother and you have a goal and you have a dream and you would like to be able to join in with another group of women that share similar things. We're great moms and we also have great dreams and goals. And we are determined to live our life to the fullest. You don't even have to be a mother. You could be a mother that's birthing a dream. Make sure you join the Mother Dreamer movement, motherdreamer.com/join. And I know that you guys tune in here on the Kim Jacobs Show on my podcast, but I also have the Kim Jacobs Show on YouTube. So make sure you go over there, go right away. As soon as you click off, go to YouTube and subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show, where there are videos and interviews that I've done with altogether different guests that you would really enjoy being able to learn about their backstories too. So make sure you subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show on YouTube and subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show here on podcast. CharDenise Caldwell, you are wonderful. Thank you for being on here today.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate this time. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you. And okay, on that note, guys, we're going to go ahead and close out the Kim Jacobs Show. And thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, guys.